So we found a position and bolted it in place. And then we, with the tire mounted, we just took tape and came up with a nice shape that we're happy with. So we'll have clearance for the wheelie bars, but we'll also have a very nice complementary shape that flows into the edge of the fender. So now we're going to take it off and we're going to cut it and go from there and start the edge detail. Took the electric shears and it made quick work, giving us a rough cut just by running the edge right here, right along our tape. Running it right along the tape, that sets us up to be within the range for our regular hand shears. And I will do my fine cut with the hand shears, and we'll go on from there. So here we are. We've placed two parallels off of the edge of the table so that we can work around it and use squares and everything. We squared it up and made sure that the center intersection was square off of our parallels. Then we came up and set this parallel to that. And what that's given us is the front edge of the fenders are now matched up. We matched them based off of index lines we had when we took them off of the station buck after making them. Then we've adjusted it and got it really, really close all the way around. And now the top is positioned close to index lines, so we know they're very close. Since this is parallel with that and the front edges and the top are at the same elevation, we can draw a line in between the two, and that will be our index for matching up our paper pattern to be able to set the edge. And what we're going to do in the back here is just trace what we have up to this point, and then we will take measurements and set the last little bit of radius that has to be added in between. But that's where we're at right now. We also match drilled and bolted them, that way they wouldn't go anywhere. And we're going to match these fenders. We drew lines at the edge of our parallel and made marks onto our cardboard pattern we made based off this side. And by flipping it over and transferring the marks, we can now lay out this side to where it's identical to that, and that's how we're going to mirror these two parts. And then we're going to come up to here, and we're just going to use measurements and draw those two together until they come together. We could also maybe use a square, because we have parallels. We can use a square and just ride this edge and trace it up into that. To do our rough in between the line, since everything is parallel and perpendicular to those things we got coming off the fixture table, what I can do is hold the end of the square perpendicular and the bottom parallel and just come up and trace right where the intersection needed to be. And as you can see, that's got it really, really close. We can fine tune it after I do a rough cut. But I think that's really, really going to work. I think it looks good. And what we'll do is we'll just fine tune it a little bit before we go on. But I will do a rough cut to get us within a 1/4 inch now. Here we are. We matched them, and then we did sand and blend just a little bit. But they are extremely, extremely close. I don't think you're going to notice riding by on a fast horse, as the man used to say. I do have to tweak this radius a little bit. This radius is not quite the same as that one. I flexed it as I was cutting it. But other than that, the cuts are identical. So now we can move on. We're going to put them back on the tractor, make sure the look is what we want for them, and then we can start with the edge detail. Here we are on the test fit. We're going to have to put a little bit of a dimple right there so the seat will sit back down into position. But other than that, it looks good. Now, the fender is tweaked. It's got to have support into it. It doesn't have a support on it yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a wire edge all the way around it. That'll stiffen it, and then we make the fender uniform. So as you can see, this is pulled down a little bit. That's pushed out a little bit. But we'll get it right and get a set of running boards made and get that wire edge on in the next couple of videos.